Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is going to be 3 of my past businesses have failed. Will I ever be successful? And I'll just jump right into it and answer the question right away. Well, it's very possible that you might never be successful. That is always it's always a possibility. And that's a lot of the reason why some people won't start their 4th, because, life is uncertain. That's just how it is. But one thing is for certain, if you stop and you quit, you are guaranteed to never be successful, at least with starting your own businesses. Part of actually being successful is actually never quitting and acquiring knowledge and learning from your own mistakes. But I'm going to go down the whole list of everything that I could think of. It's probably a bunch of things, maybe like 10, 11 things that are pretty important to know how to start a successful business and make sure it stands the test of time. So let's just get right into all the aspects of it. As I said, the first part is if you quit, you'll probably never be successful. So that's probably the biggest part, to have to accept that you may never be successful. However, that's never actually a good way to think about it. It's always good to have a lot of faith. It's like in the Bible and all this other stuff, it's always like faith. You always have to have a lot of faith and positivity and move forward. And, obviously we make a lot of mistakes, but continuing to move forward. So that's number one. I started a bunch of businesses before I got to my first one that was like a real success, the Humboldt Secret Supplies, where I make like plant fertilizers and nutrients for people who grow plants around the world. I had a lot of ones that failed before that. And, I learned from every single one. I kind of hit roads. I kind of hit like, I could like not see the future or going too far with it. So, or I couldn't just see myself doing it for a long period of time. I had multiple businesses before I did my first good one. And as you know, everybody else like Mark Zuckerberg or all these other bigger guys, they had a ton of things that they tried in college and, things that you never even heard about. So, typically people don't just start their first one and it's like a big bang right away. Typically there's some failures in there, but you just don't really pay attention to it. So it's actually probably normal. It's just how much time did you waste in those businesses is probably the number one thing. So being a quick learner is definitely the best way to be about that and not waste your time in things that are not working. So number 3, the easiest way to be successful after you failed in your past other businesses is just to find somebody who's been successful in a business and just learn from them. Like, learn from me. I'm about to tell you a bunch of things that I wish I knew like before I started my business, and I sort of knew, but I just didn't like pay much attention to it. So I didn't start the largest business in the world. Some months I'll make 100 grand. I just run you through my finances sometimes. Sometimes I break even. Sometimes I make like 20 grand. Sometimes I make 100 grand. Sometimes I've made a, few hundred grand, in a month, $250,000 in a month. I've had a streak of $250,000. I've also sometimes lost 50 grand in a month. So, I typically don't try to like lose money too much. Like I try to be pretty tight on the expenses, but so that's just kind of where I'm at. I kind of range from 0 to 100 grand. I've definitely, could go bigger, and if I've had some good streaks in time. So, and over the years, I've been continuously growing with like an average of like 30% ish or so. So I typically deal with, about 10 grand a day, in terms of like revenue. I might make like $1,000 a day or $500 a day. Some months, some days I make like 10 grand or 20 grand, but it averages out like, I'm not like making insane amounts of money at the moment, but I definitely, I definitely have an income. So I've been running my own business for probably 10 years. I've learned a lot of stuff. So I would take my advice, at least starting a small business. I have I always have like under 10 employees. I've had like 17 at one point, but I probably average a little less than 10. So it'll just save you a lot of time if you just learn from somebody that that's done something. And you always have to be like, wonder what their motivation is of telling you, like on YouTube, there's a lot of people who sell courses. So people just tell you information to, sell you a course. You don't know if their information works, but it's good if you just like find somebody in real life sometimes. There's a lot of successful people on YouTube you can learn from. It's not that difficult to like find somebody who, that's been successful in business. But sometimes the issue is if some of these people are so big, like, it's like, how to build $100 million company. And well, there's a lot of things that are going on. Like they say all these things, but there's a lot more stuff that's going on that they tell you. They tell you everything, but they don't quite tell you everything, in my opinion. And there is a lot of sacrifice. There is a lot of sacrifice with these $100 million companies that, when they tell you the story, and it's kind of sometimes hard to believe. So my story might be a little bit more believable to other people, like might be a little bit more realistic. Because, you watch a video, hey, how to start a $100 million company. Okay. Well, shit, I don't know if I can really do that. Oh, how do I start like a company that's doing a few $1 million a year? Oh, okay, well, maybe I could start with that. that's just my mentality for the average. I'm making this video for like the average person out there, because in my opinion, probably not everybody's going to be doing a $100 million company. So hopefully this advice is a little bit more reasonable to take and a little bit more realistic in terms of like what you're going to actually experience with just like running a normal business and how to make it successful. So I'll just touch on a few things that in terms of making a business viable and good for the long term. So where you have confidence that it will turn out to be profitable eventually. You want to start out with a good product, something that's high quality that you think if somebody's going to buy it, they're going to rebuy it later on, or they might tell somebody about how good it was and they'll buy it again. So having a very good quality product definitely makes it easier. If your product is not good, you're just going to have to like burn and turn, especially if your product is a reordering item. So, there have been times where I definitely compromised quality, and I was very unhappy about it, and I wish I could go back and change that. But I definitely learned it's always better to have a higher quality product than not. Other than that, a business needs customers. So you have to figure out who's going to be your customer. And typically, you solve somebody's problem, you let the world know about it, and then customers buy things from you to solve their problems or make their life better, or it's something that they want. So as long as you can just keep acquiring customers, then your business is slowly improving. As long as you're not losing money, too much money, unless you have money to lose, which I don't recommend it. You'd have to raise money. And if you haven't been successful so far, it might just be good to try to accumulate customers at a break-even cost somehow, so that you're accumulating customers, but you're not losing money. And over time, you'll have a lot more customers and maybe not any money. But then when you have all these customers and you have a quality product and they're buying, they're going to all continue to buy. And that's where kind of the profit starts to come in. Another thing that's very, very important that I wish I did a little bit better starting out, accounting. I didn't really have a great bookkeeper, and somebody who was doing my taxes. I was going to H&R Block, and it was a mess. So anyway, eventually actually I got audited by the IRS, and so I had to get bookkeepers and CPAs, and everything is done like way better now. So, not having a bookkeeper and a very good CPA to do everything definitely eventually caused me a lot of stress after I got audited, because I knew things weren't perfectly done. So I'd like straighten everything out, and I eventually got it straightened out. But if I could have started with a bookkeeper and CPAs, it would have been a lot better. But I was trying to cut because I didn't really want to spend a lot of money. And so that's why, the things weren't perfect. So, sometimes the more perfect you want things, you're going to have to spend some money. But I just wasn't willing to compromise, I guess. I was enjoying... I could have actually afforded a bookkeeper and the CPA. I didn't. I just wasn't doing it. So I'd recommend getting a bookkeeper and a CPA. The bookkeeper actually runs a lot more than the CPA, because the bookkeeper does all the books and then they turn everything over to the CPA. So the bookkeeper basically does all the tough work. And I recommend using QuickBooks, because the bookkeeper can just go into QuickBooks and have everything squared away, and then send over like the QuickBooks file to, or share everything with the CPAs. And it makes it a lot easier for the CPAs. I probably spend maybe $15,000 a year on bookkeepers, and CPAs probably spend like $5,000 or so, but they do a lot of stuff for me, so it's worth it. Another thing I'd like to touch on is like, don't cut corners with like paying tax. I mean, obviously you don't want to like overpay in tax, but obviously you don't want to like try to be cheating the IRS or anything of the sort, because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it going to sleep at night. It's better to just pay all your taxes and go to sleep at night and feel good about yourself. Some things are just worth more than money in this world. So there's a lot of people out there that are trying to cut a lot of corners and not pay as much tax as they should. And I just don't recommend that. In terms of liability parts too, you want to be sure that you're in congruence, like with all the, all your insurances, liability for your businesses as much as possible to mitigate risk, to have all the proper insurances, have all the right licenses, have obviously all the stuff done with the state, whatever's required in your state and your particular field. So you just want to have everything squared away so it's all legit. Sometimes it's tough when you're starting out to afford every single thing that you want, but it's better to just have everything done, pay like payroll tax, pay all the taxes, pay all the insurances, pay everything. Obviously you don't need like all the insurances, like if it's just doesn't make sense. But in terms of mitigating liability and going to sleep better at night, it's much more important than saving some money. You gotta also consider like this business is gonna be like a 10-year business, so you want to be very careful of like what you do, because you're not gonna make money for you might not make money for the first few years or more. So I would consider it as like a 10-year plan. If you don't really see yourself doing it for 10 years, I just wouldn't jump into it, because it's got to be something that you kind of do and you kind of have fun with it. So even if you're not making money, but you're seeing your customer base grow, you're having fun with it in a way. So in terms of just like operating, I would just say operate it with integrity. You don't want to cheat people. It's just not worth it. I think like life is a mirror, and if you cheat people, you're gonna get cheated back later, and it's just not good. It's unnecessary, because in business, the reputation you have is very big. Sometimes you'll just get business just based on your reputation. Money is not everything. Money is a lot of stuff, but reputation is pretty important as well. One thing is, of course, very important. Like, you have a service, you have a product or whatever. How are you gonna let people know about it? One thing I've actually noticed is I've always had a 1-to-1 ratio roughly of my payroll expenses and my advertising expenses. So let's say I spend $10,000 a month on marketing. That means my payroll is about $10,000 a month. If I'm spending $40,000 a month on payroll, I'm usually spending about $40,000 a month on marketing. So it's usually about a 1-to-1 ratio I found is good. I've never read anything about this in any book. I've just noticed in my own books, 1-to-1 ratio roughly. As long as you know that the marketing is working, as the marketing is giving a positive ROI on either customer acquisition or product sales, either or. So you can't be losing money. It's on a positive ROI. So that's just something I've seen. I throw it out there. Maybe a gold nugget for you guys to know how much to spend on marketing, how much to spend on per employee or labor that you have. And a lot of business is just staying alive long enough. The people, it's like the people who could stay alive long enough. And I've gone through some very, very, very dark times, very, very dark times. I literally thought I was going to have to sell the business. And then all of a sudden, boom, pop, had the best years of my life. So I've noticed that it's just staying alive long enough is one of a huge factor to see if you're successful. It's like the persistent survive and the people who are not willing to just quit. And that's actually one of the biggest things that's actually made me successful. Just I never stopped. I mean, because I didn't actually have anything I could have done. So I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? I'm done. This is like all I know. This is what I've been doing for 10 years or 8 years at the time. And boom, believe it or not, I stuck around long enough because I didn't have a choice. I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to have this business and it's not going to be doing anything. And then boom, exploded. So sometimes just stick it around long enough. But the main three things is having customers, controlling your expenses, and balancing your checkbook. Now here's like definitely a tidbit as a business owner. I would not recommend drinking a lot of alcohol or any at all, because it will create all problems a lot bigger. It will also take away your energy, and it won't make you be able to like move forward at all. Alcohol like really derails you. In the years that I've drinking a lot of alcohol, my business did not do very good. And when I started it and was building it and it has done good, I wasn't drinking any alcohol at all. So I've definitely noticed like drinking alcohol is gotta be the one of the factors that hurt the growth of my business and just the most pain I've ever brought into my life. So typically people like drink for like to suppress their problems or to mask the issues, to remove the stress. And really, if you stop drinking, you have no other choice to attack your problems and to fix them. Another side note, totally as a business owner, like staying fit mentally and physically will totally help you. I run hills in the sun in the East County in San Diego where it's like 90 degrees or more every day. And then I also work out. I play tennis. I try to stretch. I eat decently. And doing all this stuff really helps me like, like the problems are not that bad, especially like when things are not going good. And it's, obviously it can be like a big load if you have like 10 employees or 100 employees or 1,000 employees and it's all your own money and you're all your own chips at the table. You got to be like strong mentally, physically, emotionally, all that stuff. Also, you have to understand that money is just a tool to create stuff. Like when you're in survival mode, when you're starting to create a business, money is like very important because you like buy groceries, buy food, buy this and that, like pay your rent. It's like a survival thing. Once you kind of get past like the first initial like phases of your business being okay and you have money in the bank and stuff, money is just a tool to buy time and freedom. So money is just a tool that when you're in survival, it's, you need it. But once you're thriving, it's just a tool just to buy time and freedom and invest in like make things grow faster. So you shouldn't really be attached to money that bad or losing it or taking like chances, like trying to, do stuff. And if you lose money, it's not a big deal. Like I've taken chances and lost money here and there. It's not a big deal. Obviously I don't like to lose money, but sometimes make some plays to, sometimes win some hands, some big hands, Another thing I'd like to touch on is always try to expand just a little bit. You don't have to take like quantum leaps if you don't want to, but if you can just grow a little bit at a time, come out with like a little better product or just do whatever, just like to make things a little bit better, expand revenue. It'll make you have a good feeling. And over years, you'll probably look back and be like, oh, I'm glad I did that. So just make like little teeny improvements here and there. And you'll look back and they'll amount to like a big improvement. And you won't have to take like go into debt. That's the cool thing about it. Now you can go into debt and borrow money or take on investors and sell some equity or whatever, raise money and do that and all that stuff. But obviously, you know, you're gonna have a bigger burden on your hands. And I there's no problem with that. You know, if you can raise like $100 million or $10 million and make like a huge company, go for it. I'm just making this video about like starting like a small business, doing like a few $1 million in revenue, maybe making like $500,000, $1 million if you're, you know, doing super good and, you know, your business is super well oiled. That's what this video is mostly about. But a lot of the principles apply to other businesses, like if they're doing like $10 million a year or whatever. When you're growing like at an exponential rate, like, you know, when you're raising tons of money and you're losing tons of money, like let's say Amazon, it's a little bit different of a ball game because, you know, you're bringing in a lot of talented people and giving away equity. And I've never done it, so I don't think I should make a video on it. So I'm only making a video on like how to run a successful business so you don't fail in your fourth. Two last things I'd like to touch on. The brand is the most important thing that you're going to be building for the long term. You know, it's the brand that has the value that if your products are good and everything, you did a lot of the other stuff and it's kind of, you well automated things as a company was growing. That's what's going to pay you dividends in the long term because, you know, your name's going to be around for a long time. You're going to have accumulated a lot of customers. And if you stayed alive long enough and you didn't burn a lot of money doing whatever you're doing, so you were taking like slow incremental growth rather than people, when they try to grow faster, they make too many bad mistakes. That's when they like tank and they lose all their chips at the table and they can't play the game anymore. So it's really a game about staying alive. Last thing I'd like to touch on is a good and reasonable offer and a good product and a lot of integrity and stay alive for a long time. So make sure your offer is really good. If you're a consumer, would you buy what you're selling? And that's always a test. If you were your own customer, would you buy your own thing? So when I made my own products, I always start from, hey, would I buy this product? Would I buy this product if I was a grower? Would I buy my own products? That's always a thing you have to think about. Because if you buy it, then there's a much likelier chance that you're going to be successful. So that's all I got for this video today. If you like it all what I said today, the value in this video, please like, subscribe, share. And also, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, I can help you out with a variety of topics. Click the link below, go to my website. And thanks for watching this video about how to not screw up your fourth business.